Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Good day, viewers, and welcome to the program, Agriculture on the Move. I am Phillip Sydney, your host. Today, we are discussing the poultry industry in St. Lucia, primarily the broiler production. With me is Mr. Fleming James, who is the Managing Director of the Hylyne Poultry Farm Limited, situated in Monday, Castries. Welcome to the program, Mr. James.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here.
Mr. James, give us a little background into your involvement in the poultry industry over the years.
Well, this has gone very far back. I remember when my father, who is the late Fleming James as well, had a layer production. We were in layers before. Okay. At that time, I used to work at the Bank of Nova Scotia. Mm-hmm. And in banking, you know, you go through the same routine every day. I decided I think I should hop off and get into the poultry sector. Okay. But I did not want to go into eggs. So I thought hard and I decided to go into broiler production. Mm-hmm. But with the broilers, I did not want to go into the production part of it. I decided to go into processing. Okay. So that is where Hylyne Poultry Farm Limited started and exists at present.
How long ago you began this project?
The processing project started in the year 1999. Mm-hmm. And it has had its ups and downs. I mean, I went through a fire once in the year 2009, but I bounced back, and now I am on my foot again with the project at Mondino.
What propelled you to go into the production of meats?
Well, when I looked at the amount of chicken that has been imported into St. Lucia, we have it that for every man, woman, and child in St. Lucia, we consume 125 pounds of chicken per year. Mm. Now that is substantial. We're talking about 25, 30 million pounds of chicken, right? And this is again a lot of foreign exchange that leaves the country. Mm-hmm. And because of our love for chicken, I knew that this industry can develop successfully in St. Lucia.
Mm-hmm. So what is the formula? How did you begin and to get yourself well entrenched into this industry?
Well, I started off with a hatchery, right? The hatchery then was known as St. Lucia Hatcheries. Again, it was my father was involved. Okay. I did this for about 25 years, right? And then I gave it up and I concentrated mainly on the processing of chicken. So I started as far back as doing the hatching of the baby chicks in St. Lucia.
Okay, and that you provided to the farmers? I
provided that to the farmers.
And so what was the formula from the farmers producing? How were you able to interact with them for the processing part of it?
Well, I had a meeting with the farmers. Mm-hmm. Then we spoke about the whole industry, and I offered them contracts. Okay. So right now, I don't have any farms of my own, but I have 25 contracted farmers who supply me on an average 2,000 birds a day, right? And again, I would say this is working very well. So I'm able to slaughter 2,000 birds on a daily basis, 5 days a week, occasionally on a Saturday.
Okay. What is the number of workers that you have on your plant?
Okay, presently I have 34 people employed with me, and they are from, I would say, all over the island, but mainly in the Dennery area. Okay. Mainly from the Dennery area.
So how many farmers are you dealing with now, presently, that are producing birds to you?
I'm working with 25 farmers at present. Mm-hmm. Again, they're spread all over the island, as far as Viewfort. I have not gone to the other side of the island yet, but the number of farmers who have persons who have contacted me wanting to get into the broiler production in the Labrie, Soufrière, Shrewsbury area.
Okay, how do you see, because right now I think you all have been supplying about 25% of the market share. That I suppose needs to be increased. How do you anticipate that volume? Can you really be able to accommodate that sort of volume that probably will come on stream later on?
Well, presently we have the 25%, which we are meeting at this point in time. Sometime last year, 40%, an increase to 40% was approved by the government, but this was not yet taken up. At this point in time, we are ready to take up that 40%. In my case, all I have to do is probably put in a few little bits of equipment and increase staff. So at this point in time, I can do with additional people so that we can move to that 40%. It is not a difficult thing for us to be able to do at this point in time, the 40%.
How many of you all are involved in the processing of chicken on island now?
Presently, the main processors are myself and DG Farms. We have another processor known as Brown Products Holdings, I think that's the name. That's Tennyson Brown. But he is not fully involved in the processing. So the main processors are DG Farm and myself.
With the upcoming of about 23 young farmers coming on board under the agri-entrepreneurial program, do you think that you and the DG Farms have the capacity to take up that slack?
Well, I cannot say much about the DG Farm part of it, but I can say that I can do it, right? But I have to be given sufficient notice as to how many farmers are actually going, how many young people are actually going to be in that program, and so that I can plan to increase my staffing, because I definitely need increased staff, and to increase my bits of equipment which will be required to accommodate those persons. But working with them is not a problem.
So you'll be able to expand, and by expansion you will be able to at least recruit more workers?
Definitely.
But
I can expand at this point.
Do you foresee any constraints in your expansion as far as maybe finance or anything like that?
Well, that's the only big problem now, as you know, that it's a little bit difficult to get the financing from the financial institutions. But I believe that if a proper program, proposal is presented to them, I think that they will buy into it.
So you working, that formula you have with the farmers, are there any problems in getting the birds? Because sometimes you have farmers saying that, okay, it's a six-week cycle, right? Yes. Some farmers are saying it goes over 6 weeks, it goes to 8 weeks, and the birds would, get a bit heavier. And of course, there's diminishing returns. How does this work?
Well, the growth period is for 6 weeks. But there would be some times, especially when you see holidays fall in between the collections of the birds, right? Where we do not normally work on a holiday, right? But so the birds will go into 7 weeks. But what we do is try to accommodate those farmers by sometimes working on a Saturday and a Sunday in order that we could clear them off as quickly as possible.
I take it to mean, since you're looking at expansion, it means that the consumption rate of chicken, local chicken, is being looked at now as there's an advantage, is there?
Oh yes, because I will tell you that at present that I sell my chicken, I sell between 15 and 20,000 pounds of chicken on a fortnightly basis.
Wow.
I mean, this is quite a bit of chicken, right? And that even the general public.
And hold that point, we are due for a break. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
A smart family is a healthy family, and a healthy family eats smart. Fresh local meats and poultry are the best choice for your family. Our methods ensure that you can trust that they're packed with all of nature's nutrients, fresh from your local farmer. St. Lucia certified meat and poultry producers meet every government standard for health and safety. Choose a healthy lifestyle for your entire family.
To stay at the peak of my performance, I buy fresh St. Lucian local produce. Eat fresh, buy fresh.
Fresh local food products straight from the farm to your plate.
We eat fresh St. Lucian bananas. Eat fresh!
St. Lucia's farms produce an abundance of fresh quality foods, highly nutritious and incredibly tasty. Wise choices when it's most important. Healthy families. Buy fresh, eat fresh.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move. My guest today is Mr. Fleming James, the Managing Director of the Hylyne Poultry Farm up in Mondidon. You were talking about the rate of consumption of chicken in St. Lucia, and Fleming, that is high.
We consume a lot of chicken. As I said at the beginning, we consume about 30 million pounds of chicken annually. And now with the local product on the market, that I can see people are now gravitating towards the local chicken.
Why is that?
Because they realize that the local chicken, for one, is a fresher product, is a leaner product, right? And they don't have to go through all those additives and hormones that are in the imported chicken. It is very clear that a lot of the chicken, or most of the chicken produced from the imported product, are filled with hormones, antibiotics, and all those things which we know now causes cancer.
In fact, I was so pleased with you, and I think probably you can attest to it, but I believe that has boosted your sale in terms of the ads that you have. How's that been going?
Definitely. I mean, when I started off, I was kind of afraid to advertise. But then a number of persons were behind me, Fleming, you should advertise, you should advertise. And then I say, okay, let me advertise. And to my surprise, this thing has, I mean, as I said, has 24 of my
But
of
what
my
you,
business.
what you think that had people to gravitate to eating a local chicken?
Because of the freshness of the product. You could come to my plant now and get a chicken that is probably been processed about 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Or you can wait for chicken because it is in the process of being processed. The freshness of the product, and I say the leanness of the product as well. The fat content of the product is definitely not there as compared to when you buy imported chicken. I mean, I was talking to somebody, a customer, about a month ago, and they told me that when they buy a case of backs, which is 30 pounds, 10 pounds of that is strictly fat, which they have to dump. And this is so with all the other cuts of chicken that is imported into St. Lucia.
So are you saying that you know, where you sell your chicken, the ad has had you to expand to other sale outlets?
Well, yes, because before I advertised, I never sold to Super J supermarkets.
Yeah, okay.
Now I have Sunny Acres, I have Rodney Bay, I have Rodney Heights, I have Waterfront, and I have, and also I work with GL and I work with Mega G, right? So I literally work with almost all the supermarkets of Super G. And this is fresh chicken, which I deliver 3 times a week to the supermarkets.
Let's go back to your HACCP certified, you know, of your plant. I mean, tell us exactly what it takes to take you to where you are now.
Right. In order for us to meet the standards of chicken in St. Lucia, and this is what is required from the Ministry of Agriculture, the Veterinary Division, and also the Ministry of Health, that we have to get HACCP certified, which means Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. It's a food safety system, right? And this is a very expensive system, and is a system where you have to keep on monitoring all the time. Record keeping is very important because you have to be audited at least once a year. And when the auditors are coming, that you have to ensure that all information is available to them. As I say also, the Ministry of Health, they don't tell you when they're coming, right? They just come in on you. Even the Veterinary Division, when they do the post-mortem inspections at the plant, you know they're going to come in today, but you don't know what time. So you have to make sure you're always on top of things and ensure that you meet what is known as for the HACCP certification, right? I have already started that. I have everything in place. It's just a matter of ensuring that I can be certified in the shortest possible time.
What does the contractual arrangement entail with the farmer?
Okay, I signed an arrangement with a contract with them where they purchase their own feed and the baby chicks. I purchase the grown bird from them, and I do the marketing of the bird, and I pay them whatever the sales are within 14 days.
But prior to that, some years ago, were you not involved in giving them all the inputs, the birds, that is the baby chicks, feed, and then that would be deducted? I mean,
when I first started off 15 years ago, I started doing this. But at present that I've re-looked at the whole contract arrangement. But what I have now, we have the suppliers of the baby chicks and the feed. I have an arrangement with them where they are prepared to give the farmers the feed on baby chicks on credit, and I in return would pay them from the sales of the product.
What do you think are the constraints for farmers getting involved in the production of broilers as far as financing is concerned?
Well, that is the biggest problem. I mean, I have an average of about 3 to 5 people coming to me every day wanting to get into broiler production, right? I explain to them what the situation is. I refer them to the veterinary department because they're the ones who are supposed to give them all the information. But the only problem that they are facing is that when they go to the financial institutions, they have a difficulty in obtaining the financing, which I think is it's something that we should try to do better. Because with the amount of chicken that we consume, the amount of foreign exchange that leaves the country, I think that if the banks, especially maybe the St. Lucia Development Bank, SLDB, should look seriously. I'm not saying that they have to throw away money to people, but they should look a little more serious in the proposals that are being given. I think that they could even talk to the processor as to what is going to be done and how we're going to do it. And I think that. But
do you think maybe it's a situation where the Ministry of Agriculture, SLDB, the farmers, and the processing people come together around the table and to discuss the way forward?
I think that is very important because as a matter of fact, as I told you earlier before we came on air, is that those financial institutions, they have never visited my plant to see what happens there. Especially, I'm sad to say that the St. Lucia Development Bank has not visited my processor plant.
Which is sad. So they don't understand
They don't understand what is going on. You see, we have people sitting at the back at the desk and just putting figures together and saying yes or no, right? But I think that if they have a practical view of what is happening, how the whole process takes place, I think they will understand what is happening and how they could rethink the way that they look at it. Imagine when I first got into production, I went to one of the processing. I went to one of the banks and the officer I spoke with told me, but Mr. James, why you want to go into processing chicken when you can order chicken from overseas?
That's the way they perceive it to be.
Yes.
But I know years ago, SLDB, there were field officers. They were trained. They were agriculturally trained. And they too used to regularly visit your farm to ensure that at least the monies that you borrow from the bank is well spent. Is that still happening?
Well, I mean, I've never heard the farmers saying about a field officer from the bank or any bank came to visit them, right? But I know on a fortnightly basis, field officers from the veterinary division do those visits. And as a matter of fact, I'm in the process of recruiting an individual to be my field officer. Yes. So he will be going and visit the farmers that I work with to ensure that they keep in line with what's supposed to be done. So at the end of the day, we'll both be happy that they'll have a proper bird where they can make money, and I will also receive a bird at a plant where I can also be happy to.
So you would have that officer go and actually tell them what you are looking for,
what I'm looking
for. When you speak to the farmer and ask, okay, he's supposed to deliver birds for you, how is that done?
Okay, the farmers don't deliver. I collect the birds,
okay.
Right? I do that farm gate collection for the birds. All I do is to tell them that I'll be coming on so-and-so day. Then I notify the vet. The vet goes into the farm, to do what is known as an anti-mortem inspection, and this has to be done 24 hours before the collection.
Well, hold that point again. We are moving fast. You are watching Agriculture on the Move. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
There are many opportunities in agriculture, and broiler production is one such enterprise. For further information, contact the Veterinary and Livestock Division at 468-5621.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move. Mr. James, I know, one of the main constraints we have in St. Lucia as far as importation is concerned, we cannot ban importation because there's this WTO ruling, and that's over our heads. What are you saying as a processor to the consumer out there? I know you have your ads, but what additional are you saying to them in order to consume our locally produced eat fresh St. Lucia's best?
Now, Mr. Sydney, I don't think it's right that when you say we cannot ban the importation of chicken.
Why is that?
It can happen. I think there are clauses within those treaties which, as long as the government is prepared to support the local production, that fledgling countries and industries like St. Lucia, that there are clauses to protect those countries. Because up to yesterday, I was hearing that the Barbados government, they protect the industry. The Jamaica government, they protect the industry, right? So I think that we can be protected in St. Lucia. But again, with the local product, I cannot overemphasize on the quality of the product, the freshness of the product, right? That you can, it's very difficult for you to say you could bring a fresh chicken from the United States, right? Because the freshness that we get it here, it's impossible to get it out of the United States. And when you watch at the United States, the products we bring here are products that, the parts that we import here, they are not really consumed
Premium.
in the United States.
It's not premium. Yes.
They're not premium, right?
That's right.
So literally we are saying that those products are being dumped on those islands here. So my people are out there, I'm asking you all to not want to believe that you have to support Hylyne or DG Farms, but I think for your own health benefits, I think that it'll be a plus for you to consume the local product. Despite it being a little more expensive, but as we grow, as we increase our quota on the island, when economies of scale, that the product, and I'm telling you the product will reduce in price. Because we are already getting a reduction in the price of feed, because the feed which is being produced locally.
That's right.
And that feed is a chemical-free feed, right? So then all those hormones, all those fear of antibiotics and the chemicals that we consume, we can assure you that that feed does not have that, and we are a lot safer eating the chicken, which is grown locally, from that, which is fed on the feed, which we produce in St. Lucia, is a lot healthier product.
Do you think that the health people, the doctors and other persons involved in the health sector, are they afraid to go out there and tell St. Lucians, do not really consume the imported chicken?
I mean, I believe that they will not do it, but deep down in the heart, because I've spoken to two doctors who were at school together with me when I was at St. Mary's, right? And they have also told me that they cannot understand why St. Lucians would want to consume that chicken that is imported, right? Because they, as doctors, know the health implications about that product. But I suppose maybe they do. Maybe you want to say they're not willing to do it. But I don't think that. I think a time will come when they will come out and say exactly what the position is.
Yeah, because behind closed doors, I mean, they're talking about, I mean, they see the results, They see, people come to them every day, and especially coming from the poorest of the communities where they consume a lot of those imported chicken backs. I mean, I don't have the facts, but day to day, I know how they have the facts to tell you, that a lot of those persons come to them with the diseases, and it's related to, the consumption of chicken. They have said it.
Yes.
But the point is, are they willing to come out?
Well, that is the one that we are not too sure whether they'll want to do it.
Yes. The other thing is, as far as the children are concerned, the schools are concerned, do you really invite them to come to your plant, and do you have a program where you at least do some education to them?
Definitely, especially the students in the upper formers, the Form 5s who are doing the SBAs. I've had visits from most of the schools. As a matter of fact, I was really surprised one day when a teacher from the Dame Paulette Louise School called me and told me they wanted grade 6s or something like that to visit there, because they too have to do SBAs.
Okay,
right. So one day I had over 300 students at the plant seeing what we do at the plant. And I mean, I was very happy about it, to see those young persons and the questions that they ask. They were really interested in what took place. As I told them, out of the 300, if 10 of you all will become farmers, that would be good.
But at the end of the day, just take us through your plant. I mean, you don't have to give details, but what normally happens on a daily basis?
Okay, what happens from the evening before, the birds are collected from the farm, brought into the plant. Then the process is that the plant is divided in two areas, the slaughter area and the processing area. The slaughter area is where we do the killing of the birds, right? And this process is done by hanging the birds on on shackles. Then we use what is known as a stunning knife. The reason for that stunning knife is that it has an electric current going through it, which stuns the bird. In stunning the bird, it increases the heartbeat of the birds. So when we cut the neck, the blood flows out very quickly. And that process takes about 45 seconds, right? And from then you put it into what is known as a scalder, which is hot water at the temperature 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the process is simple like what our mothers and fathers did a long time ago, right? But this is more automated and is on a larger scale. From there, that process of the scalding takes 45 seconds. You take it out from that scalder, you put it into a plucker. Again, another 45 seconds. At that stage, in the plucker, all the feathers are removed. 99.9% of the feathers are removed. Then we take it and we put it into the processing area, where all the other aspects of the processing done, where the entrails are removed, the birds are selected into either mixed parts, where you want the parts, or whole chicken, and then we freeze them.
I suppose you use a lot of water. Do you have any problems with water?
Definitely. Water, I use between 3,000 and 4,000 gallons of water on a daily basis, right? Because everything has to be done, has to be cleaned properly, right? So we use a lot of ice, we use a lot of water at the place. And of course, the blood, there's a lot of blood in the area as well. But the water part of it, presently, despite we have the water crisis, that I have tanks on farm, which a total capacity of 14,400 gallons. So that could last me about 2.5 to 3 days. But I'm getting getting good support from Wasco. When I don't have water, they would assist me in getting water.
As we're coming to the end, any final words you have, Mr. James?
Well, I would like to tell our people out there that St. Lucia produces chicken, good quality chicken, wholesome chicken, right? And I'm urging people that those of us who are health conscious, yes, you don't have to look too much at the dollars and cents. Yes, you could look at it, but I don't think you watch too much at the dollars and cents. But your health is important, because if you have the good health, that dollars and cents, it will multiply, because you won't have to spend it on any medical visits and whatnot. But I think that we should support the local product. A lot of people are saying that it's not a matter of support, it's what you can afford. But I still would say I would like you to support the local product and let us see the industry grow. That will definitely have a lot of savings in foreign exchange.
I just forget to mention, I remember coming to you last year, and I noticed around Christmas time there were a lot of the elderly in the area come to me. I was very, very curious about that.
Yeah, I am saying it definitely. I mean, I get a lot of support from sales from the persons within the Mondino area. And it's not the Mr. John and Mr. Paul and Mr. It is, as I say, those simple people from the area. And some of them would come there every day.
And they create an impact.
Yes, definitely. To buy some backs or to buy some neck or some gizzard. And well, I'm very, very sad.
We have to come to an end there, sadly. I mean, it's a nice, interesting program. I thank you very much for being on the program. I hope that other farmers out there will hear and probably come to you and get more information and to get into the production.
I'd welcome
so I want
them.
to thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
You've been watching Agriculture on the Move. Thank you for viewing. I hope this program has been very exciting to you, and I hope you viewers will buy our local farm products. Eat fresh, St. Lucia's best. I am Phillip Sydney saying goodbye and see you again.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.